Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Acumatica and Excel Streamline Reporting, Budgeting, and Automations with Velixo webinar. My name is Sullivan Sanders, a marketing coordinator here at Aktion Associates. Let me introduce today's presenter, Alex Bastian. Alex is a strategic partnership professional with extensive experience in cultivating and managing partner ecosystems. Alex leverages cross-cultural fluency in 3 languages to guide partners and customers through transitions, aligning with best practices to maximize solution benefits. I will hand it on over to you, Alex.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Hope that this presentation will be insightful. Today, what we have, quick presentation, 5-7 minutes of who is Velixo is, and then we go jump in right into Excel to see the solution in action. We welcome your feedback, but as mentioned, this is a webinar, so you will be muted. Don't worry, at the end, we'll have plenty of time for your questions. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Velixo has been founded about 8 years ago. Really thrilled, approaching the double-digit anniversary. We're the #1 partner ISV in the Acumatica ecosystem. Actually, we're sort of a child of Acumatica. Our founder, Gabriel Michaud, was a product development manager there, and he realized that there were ways we could improve the extraction of data from Acumatica into the comfort of Excel. So we left Acumatica and founded Velixo. And the solution is really based on this. Beside the fact that we're trying to streamline business to increase the efficiency with the use of ERP and gathering all of the data there, it's still so difficult to get rid of Excel. Think of how many times in a day, you click export to Excel. Something we do all the time. So instead of fighting it, let's embrace it. However, there's a couple of things we're trying to solve that you may be experiencing right now with your use of Excel. First, when you export to Excel, what you're doing basically is taking a picture of what's going on in your ERP for specific data at the defined moment. Well, with the pace of business, this information becomes old and no longer relevant very quickly, which is why with Velixo, you'll be able to correct that with their ability to refresh data. And I'll show you that in action in a few minutes. Also, the time you're taking to reconfigure, to make the information in a format that is consumable is taking time away from your day, and you could obviously invest it in different tasks. Making that manually over and over is prone to error, and that could have consequences as you're sharing that with colleagues, perhaps even with bosses, and they are basing their decision on this information. If a mistake is there, then it could steer them in the wrong direction. Finally, what you're doing is in Excel, which means that if there's correction you're doing in Excel, you need to duplicate them in your ERP after that. And this is exactly what we're trying to solve. With our augmented Excel experience, you connect it to Acumatica quite easily. You have also the ability to have real-time reporting. You click just one button and you have refreshed data as of now. You have also the integration with Acumatica, where you have the security, which is very important. We mirror all the permission levels that you have already set up in Acumatica, which means that, for example, someone that is trying to import payroll data, like to compare salary with his colleague, is coming to his annual review, like a raise. If he does not have access to this information already, impossible to pull it into Excel. And we have also a bi-directional integration, which means that you can pull and push data in through Acumatica. And this is what we call the write back. Finally, if you're using Outlook, you'll be able to distribute and disseminate the information with our distribution tool, which allows you basically to send the information that is relevant to the recipient and not all of the reporting comprised in a specific workbook. So you can do more with Velixo because you have self-service, the ability to create reports that are advanced or that are at different level in the comfort of Excel. No need to learn a new SQL language. Import data, you have also better visibility because you have real-time reporting. You can analyze live transaction and have this seamless integration. And finally, that allows you to become more efficient because all of these things allows you to concentrate on other tasks. This is the last slide of this first part of the presentation, simply to show you that we have a vast array of customers around the world. We're present in Europe, obviously US, North America, big presence in Australia, and all of these customers, what they have in common, not the industry and not their country, simply that they use Excel. So if you use Excel, we're extremely confident that we can make a difference for you. With that, I will now share my screen and we will jump right into the world of Velixo. All right. Can you just confirm that you're seeing my screen? Oh yeah, perfect. I see it in the corner now. So right now, I'm going to make it a tiny bit bigger. First part of the presentation will show you quickly how you can download Velixo. It's quite easy. Go to add-ins here. If you have a Velixo license, you simply click Velixo. Less than a minute, you're connected. So there's no implementation time. You have your license and you can right away connect. Next thing that you need to do is obviously create this connection with your ERP. Come here, select Acumatica, and now simply put your credentials. See, as easy as this. Click connect. By the way, you can also have SSO, which will allow you to connect straight from Acumatica. First thing you'll notice here, we created a connection name. Connection is Acumatica. We highly suggest you to keep it simple. As you'll see, we'll use that over and over. So now I have a Velixo header here where we have the ability to refresh the data, create the connection, what we just did. Drill down, we'll see that a bit later. Also the distribution list is part of this the presentation a bit later. Send back information into Acumatica. This is the bidirectional connectivity I mentioned, and some other functions here. To start this demonstration, first thing we'll do a trial balance, just to establish foundational knowledge of how Velixo works and show you how easy it is to import information. So first thing we'll do, we have our connections already here. We'll import the accounts, insert chart of account, name of the connection Acumatica, and just like that, I've imported live accounts from Acumatica. What you see here is one of the 90 dynamic functions we've added to Excel. Once you've created the report, you can simply refresh here, current worksheet, and anything that has changed since the moment I've imported these accounts would have been changed now. Well, I'll show you that a bit later once we finish the trial license. The trial balance, my apologies. Here, name of the accounts to make it easier to understand. I'm going to go to the functions. Here you have Velixo NX, and you have account name. You see here we have the syntax, name of the connection, Acumatica, and just like that. I'm importing the name, clicking on the right bottom here. Add the names for all of these different accounts. For the balance, obviously now we need a bit more information. We'll need the ledger, actual. If I wish to put any sub accounts, I could. I'm not going to put it for this time. And financial period, we'll put November 2020. I'm going to go back here into my functions. Account ending balance. You see here the syntax. But if you have any doubts about the function that you're about to use, you simply click on this hyperlink here. And just like that, you're automatically redirected to the knowledge base article where you can see all of the details. Oh, actually, it seems that it has not shared. I'm just going to stop sharing as you didn't see this part. It appeared on another screen. So this is where I was sent after clicking on the hyperlink. So this is our knowledge base, and you have the specific article of the function I was about to use. So just like that, you have here the description, syntax, the different parameters, the one that are required, the one that are optionals, and a couple of examples. It's very important to notice that I'm not logged. This is public information, and so will be the next part of the presentation where I'll show you the financial sample report that you can download for free at any time. With that, I'm just going to go back to my spreadsheet now. So stop sharing to make just sure that you're seeing the same as me. Perfect. So I'm back with my Excel spreadsheet, account ending balance. I'm putting the name of the connection, Acumatica, ledger C1, account code A8, sub-account C2, and C3, just like that. Now we're importing the balance and we can now expand it. This is all of these balances for these accounts. Now that we've created that, we can start having a bit of fun by copying, pasting, and creating a variance column where I'll do simply C minus D. Obviously, I'm comparing the same thing right now. I'm going to expand it. But I can change, for example, here, the ledger to go from comparing actual to budget of the same year. Or I could go actual to actual and change the year here. You see, this is how fast is the connection. Very easy to create this trial balance. Once, by the way, you've created your template of report, you save it. In the future, all you'll need to do is create your connection. Reestablish your connection. And here, refresh the page, and you'll have all of the information in real time as fast as that. I'll take a quick pause just to tell you a story. We have in our area a ski resort about an hour of the city, and that had an extremely complex report that they were running into Acumatica. And the language and the structure of the report was so that they had to run it in the middle of the night, cut it in two, and then in the morning copy paste it to have the data. So in the day, with all of the people using the system, it was impossible to run it. It would crash. What they did is they asked Velixo, could you study this report and see if it's feasible? Yes. And by the way, we run feasibility assessment. If you have reports where you see that Velixo could be helpful, we can run a feasibility assessment, tell you if we can reproduce them. So you said, yes, it's complex, however, but we've recreated it for them. And then with that, now all that they had to do is click that refresh button. No more need to wait in the middle of the night. They have the information at their fingertip at any moment. Last part of this first aspect of the demonstration is simply to show you that we can group accounts in different ways. What I'm creating right now is a range. I'm going to copy here these cells. And I'm now taking the accounts from 10,100 to 13,000. Another way to group is specific accounts. So this is these two accounts now. And finally, we have what we call the wildcard. So an account, let's say with 5 digits starting by 1. And I can start making exclusion if I wish to. This is helpful when you're trying to create your custom report to map out the accounts that you want in a specific cell and how I can get to there. So that was the first part. I'm going to stop sharing my screen a second to switch gear. And now we're going to jump into the financial package report. I'm just creating my connection ready here. And this is, as I mentioned, fully available for free on our website. What you're seeing here, and to save time, I've already reestablished a connection. You have profit and loss here. You can see where we have a consolidated. It's branches for this example, but it could be anything: sales territory, it could be countries, it could be any sort of part of your business unit. You have the consolidated here, and here you have all of the other sub-business units. So Serve East here, and you see the data is pulling in real time, and you have the information for this business unit. You can then navigate the way you want and have the result appearing in real time, and also change a financial period. Important, we've done it by month, year. We're not limited to that. We could create days of range, a range of days, sorry. It's the way you want. Here, simply wanted also to underline that this is an open report. This is how we've mapped out these accounts. You're invited to further customize it based on the need of your organization. I'll show you at the end of the presentation where you can find this report. You have here the profit and loss consolidated with a period by month and year. Profit and loss trailing, tiny bit more visual than the first one I've showed you. You have a drop-down menu, same logic here. You select the branch and you see the information, and you can navigate from one to another quite easily here, and you go back to consolidated when you want. You have also here a profit dashboard. Same again, drop-down menu. By now you understand the logic. And you see here the pie chart and the graphs are updating based on which unit you've selected. And finally, cash flow statement. So same here. All of that, as I said, open. You can have fun and start for customizing them based on the need of your organization. So now we'll go back to our profit and loss. I'd like to introduce you to our first functionality, because so far I've shown you how Velixo works, but I've not introduced you to that many functionalities. Mostly it was different formulas. So here we have the drill down, which allows you to click on any cell here in this report and go back to source transaction in Acumatica. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use the total expense here to understand what is this $200 of travel. I could simply click here, but to show you the strength of the solution, I'll do it from the total expense. I simply click here, drill down. And just like that, another tab opens with all of the transaction comprised in this total. You have here the source cell. If I click here, I'm going back to the tab where this information is located, so which is our profit and loss is here. Here we'll click in a second. This is to go straight into Acumatica. We have the name of the connection, tiny bit different for this workbook demo. Actual ledger, the account, the description, sub-account if you have any, sub-account name, product, department, period, and here we have all of the balances. So what we want to do is to understand what is this $200 of travel. Simple. All I'll do is click here, view transaction. I'm gonna change again and share my screen, as this is not automatically showing. So now I'm in Acumatica at the exact page of this transaction. And sorry if it's not showing straight, I need to stop sharing and sharing again. So I've clicked and I arrive right here at this transaction page. So now I have the module, account payable, batch number, AP, transaction date, billing balance. We have the exact amount, 200,173, and we start to understand what's going on. Someone stayed at the Hilton. As I said, this functionality is extremely powerful when you are a manager trying to understand a specific expense, or if you're going through an internal or an external audit. What I can do now, because I have some pieces, but it's not 100% clear what's happening, I can click on the reference number. And here I have another page that opened. That's why I'm stop sharing and share again. And you have here at another level here the invoice, if it's been properly uploaded by the employee. So now I know that Thomas Costa was in San Diego on a business trip, and this is how much he paid for the night. So no more need to look for information. You can work from the comfort of Excel and go basically surf the wave until you understand all of the details and going straight to Acumatica. Now I'm going to share this, close this screen, and I'm going to show you something different. What I've shown you so far is all of the information that are based on accounts. But it's very important to keep in mind that there's a lot of GIs in Acumatica. So billage and adjustment is an example of it. And what I can do is also create reports based on them. What I'll do here, I'll go into bill and adjustment, customization. I'll show you how you can manually import all of this information and further truncate it. So I'm going to copy this. Now I'm going to go back to my original spreadsheet, stop sharing my screen again, and open it another time. Here you go. and I am now in my original spreadsheet where I've created my first trial balance. I'm going to go here, simply type GI. Very important to remember that since I'm in my original spreadsheet, the name of my connection is Acumatica. Now all I'll do now is copy the name of this generic inquiry. Just like that, through OData, we're pulling all of this information. Important to say, you can have as many generic inquiry as you want on a single page. There's no limitation. The only limitation you can have on a single sheet is the limitation of Excel, which is, I don't know, 1 million cell or something like that. Now, this is a lot of information. Let's segment it. Let's put vendor, status, and currency. Now I've limited the information, again, as if I was creating my own template. And I can even create dynamic filters. Say I want vendor transit and status as open. I can go here and put GI filter. Again, name of my connection, name of my inquiry, and vendor B1, status B2. Oh, 1 second. B2. Oh, no comma, but comma here. Here we go. I've created the filter, and here I can insert it, and it will automatically screen accordingly to the value I've chose. And if I no longer want it, simply remove it from here, and I go back to the original without having these filters, these timing filters. This is simply a part to show you that you have a lot of possibilities. You're not limited to accounts. Basically, everything that lives on the Acumatica database can be imported into Velixo. Very important, though, to make a distinction. Living in the database means that something that is located and lives in Acumatica, and not something that is a byproduct of it. And I'll just make a quick explanation because this is very important. If you have data that are generated by report in Acumatica, it's highly possible that the report will use the data from the database, then make some manipulation and add the output. This output does not live in the database, it lives in the report, and therefore cannot be imported into Velixo. However, the result of that report can at a high chances be reproduced by Velixo, because then we'll recreate the logic of that report. It's an important distinction. Wanted to make it to make clear of what are the possibilities, but also the limitations of Velixo. Now I'll stop sharing my screen a quick second to introduce you to our most important feature, which is the write back. I'm going back to my financial sample spreadsheet. So you remember I introduced you to different sort of report, and here we have the write backs. Write back is that bi-directional integration. You've seen so far in the presentation information being pulled from Acumatica into Excel. Now we'll do the other way around, where we'll send it back into Acumatica from Excel. I like this example because it shows how Velixo is responsive and also hearing the recommendations from the customer. This was a customer. This is the original example. They had an accrual calculation per division here, multiply by the GL rate, so this liability insurance accrual, that we're creating these entries here. They were doing that manually over and over every month, and they ask our product development team, is there a way you can streamline that process? It's error prone, taking a lot of time. We'd like to have a way to automate that, or at least to speed it up. We quickly realized that this was something that would apply across the board to all of our customers. So much that what you're seeing right now is the journal transaction. We have the budget and project forecast. These three scenarios are fully templatized. But if you have your own scenarios that you'd like to create, you need an import scenario on the Acumatica side and a template on the Velixo side. We have the universal writeback that you can see here, where you can create your own scenarios. All of these scenarios right now are scenarios created by customers to fit their needs. So for example, import POs, we're going to see quickly. This is what one of our customers is using to send these POs automatically into Acumatica. It's extremely powerful also if you're trying to import historical data during the implementation. That allows you to speed up that process. Now I'll show it to you in action. I'm going to change this rate to 3. You saw that the entries have been modified. Very important here, I've not selected automatic release, which will create an extra step in the Acumatica, which you'll see in a second, to basically verify the information before it's flowing straight into the ERP. Before I click perform writeback, last thing, I said it, but I will repeat it. Everything is based on the permission levels that you have set up in Acumatica. So if you don't have access already to this information, obviously you cannot send it back to the system. So no worries, no one will overwrite your data if they don't have the ability to see it. Clicking OK. And in a few seconds, we'll see a page that will open. Obviously, it's opening on the side, so I'm going to stop sharing and put it on my main screen so you can see what has opened. So this is what opened automatically. You have here the same information that we send the calculation. If I know that everything is right, now I just remove the hole, and just like that, the information is in the system. One click, you don't need to make all of these entries. And obviously, we selected an example with 5 entries, but it could be hundreds of entries. If you wanted, you could copy spreadsheets where I have a lot of information, like the PO example I've showed you. Could be 100 POs sent in just one click. Very important also, as Acumatica is based on transaction levels, it's not one transaction per account updated. It's one transaction for all of what we send in one click. Very important aspect to consider. With that, I'll go now back to my spreadsheet to show you the distribution list, which is the last functionality we'll discover today. And after that, I'll show you where all of this information lives. So this is where, when I was mentioning saying that if you use Outlook, you can benefit from our distribution tool. You have here the ability to select the format in which you want to share it. Excel without Velixo formula if you want people to have a read-only version. PDF also, obviously read-only, but now not in Excel. You can create the file name here, select the tabs, and this is where it's becoming interesting. CEO or CFO don't want to consume the same information, so you can select what is relevant for a specific person and for another without having to create different version of that file or save it different times. And even within a specific spreadsheet, you can here select branches from the drop-down menu that I've showed you before. So you put here the email subject, body, and just like that, after that, you could click, and all of these emails are sent automatically to these people. So it's also important to say that you could, if you wanted, create a password for these files. There's no problem. This is also a column that you could add when you create your distribution list. With that, I have shown you the most impactful feature. Obviously, we have 90 dynamic formulas, so I'm not going to show it one by one. I'd like to finish the presentation part by showing you what we have to offer in our knowledge base. We have a lot of information that will help you. At the end of the day, if you know Excel, you know Velixo. This is when we're looking at the function. When you go back to the knowledge base here, you have how to get started, different customization packages if you need to install one on your Acumatica instance, the different functions, how to, many articles on how to troubleshoot. And finally, the demonstration that I've shown you here is available for free here. So this is exactly the template we've reviewed together. You can play with it. You can have fun and see what it can do for you. Important to say, we offer a promotion for all of you as you spend your time with us. We can apply a 20% if you buy in the first month. And also we offer a trial license if you want to play around with Velixo to see if it's the right fit for your organization. An aspect I didn't mention that is important for Acumatica, it's one license for Velixo, unlimited users. We want your organization to embrace Velixo, and you might have a first use case and discover other along the journey. Also, you can submit ticket at any time, and we have training that we've recently launched with Acumatica, also available on the marketplace. For $900 a year, you have unlimited users, unlimited sessions to allow you to gain more knowledge about Velixo fast. With that, we can switch and now go back to start the Q&A. I'm happy to answer all questions you may have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Alex.